Good morning. Recently, I read a story about someone who forgot. It was the story of Jacob Brodsky, a shy Russian Jew whose father owned a bookstore. Tennessee Williams actually told the story of how Jacob Brodsky's father wanted his son to go to college. The boy, on the other hand, desired nothing but to marry Lila, his childhood sweetheart, a French girl who was as ambitious and outgoing as he was laid back and contemplative. A couple of months after young Brodsky went to college, his father took sick and died. Son returned home, buried his father, and married Lila. Then the couple moved into the apartment above the bookstore, and Brodsky took over its management. The life of books fit him perfectly, but it cramped her style. She wanted more adventure. She found it, she thought, when she met an agent who praised her beautiful singing voice and enticed her to tour Europe with the vaudeville company. Brodsky was devastated. At their parting, he reached into his pocket and handed her the key to the front door of the bookstore. "You better keep this," he told her, "because you'll want it someday. Your love is not that much less than mine that you can get away from it. You'll come back sometime. I'll be waiting." Well, she kissed him and left. To escape the pain he felt, Brodsky withdrew deep into his bookstore and took to reading, as someone else might have taken to drink. He spoke little, did little, could most times be found at the large desk near the rear of the shop, immersed in his books, while he waited for his love to return. Nearly 15 years after they parted, at Christmas time, she did return. But when Brodsky rose from the reading desk, he took the love of his life as an ordinary customer. "You want a book?" he asked. That he didn't recognize her, well, it startled her. But she gained possession of herself and replied, "I want a book, but I've forgotten the name of it." Then she told him a story of childhood sweethearts, a story of a newly married couple who lived in an apartment above a bookstore, a story of a young, ambitious wife who left to seek a career which enjoyed great success but could never relinquish the key her husband had given her when they parted. She told him the graphic story that she thought would bring him to himself, but his face showed no recognition. Gradually she realized that he had lost touch with his heart's desire, that he no longer knew the purpose of his waiting and grieving, that now all he remembered was the waiting and grieving itself. "You remember it? You must remember it," she said. "The story of Lila and Jacob." After a long pause, he said, "There's something familiar about the story. I think maybe I've read it somewhere. I think maybe it was something by Tolstoy." Dropping the key, she fled the shop, and Brodsky returned to his desk, to his reading, unaware that the love he waited for had come and gone. Tennessee Williams' 1931 story reminds us how easy it is to miss love when it comes. I choked back tears when I read this. But there is an even sadder story of how people brush Jesus aside, wanting nothing to do with him, even though he gave his very life to purchase their salvation. I'm Larry Hatfield. Good day.